Welcome, everyone. Welcome to SRF Weekend Warriors live on Apex Racing TV, coming to you from Tsukuba Circuit. A short track today, which means the racing will be compressed to the point of white-hot plasma, not unlike the core of our very sun. I am your loving host, Jim Hodson. Joining me today on commentary and on production is the man with all the knobs and faders, Mr. Jonathan Johnny Grabs Grabowski. Interestingly, he spells his name exactly as Johnny Lane did, lead singer of the 80s hair metal band Warrant, J-A-N-I. Isn't that right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, great, man. I'm stoked about it, too. Yeah, shout out to our man, Marco Barbanera. It is his birthday weekend. He is known as the Super Italian for a good reason. We love him dearly. Now, I might have been wrong about his name, but, I never let the truth fray a good yarn. Now, speaking of good yards, I want to say thank you so much to our series sponsor, Race Voice. Race Voice is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Weekend Warrior Spec Racer Ford Racing Series. Take your driving to the next level with on-track audible performance alerts with Race Voice and Race Voice Sim. You can hear stuff like miles per hour, turn entry and exit speeds, upshift alerts, and other performance metrics which are selected and configured by you. Go faster with the speed of voice. Plus, Weekend Warriors get 50% off annual sim pricing using the promo code WW50. Check them out at www.racevoice.com. I desperately need that software. My driving is just abominable, Johnny Grabs. Oof, yeah. Well, I'm both amazed, gratified, and sorry for your whole family that that's the case. But we're going to have a great... Oh, got it. Well, don't mix them up. Now, we got a great race for you guys today. Again, like I said, Tsukuba Circuit, and it is Tsukuba Short. We're looking here at Jeff Fritcher making his way into the pit lane. So, very short track today. And I've been challenged by our friends in the Weekend Warriors community because I do like to say everybody's name. Oh, there's a wreck at pit entry just before Fritcher came through. Not sure who that was. I do like to say everybody's name before the start of the race. We're just looking at, if you cast your eye to the top left-hand corner of your screen there, you'll see that we are at 7 minutes, 48 seconds in practice. Just getting ready to get the race started. Of course, the drivers qualify in a different session. There's another wreck on track. What a day it's going to be, Johnny Grabs. Lord have mercy. So, as I said, the community have sort of thrown down the gauntlet, if you will. There's our series organizer, Stevie Ray, in the 911 machine. Because they start on the back straight here at Tsukuba, and because the track is so short, the Weekend Warriors community does not think that I have the time to say everybody's name. Now, when we go through the grid, I do like to get through everybody's name to the best of my pronunciation ability. But some of our beloved drivers, perhaps, drivers like Yaroslav Chernikovsky comes to mind. Their names have been mangled in the past. And Chernikovsky actually got so upset with me about that he came to my house and stole some of my potted plants. You can believe it. Yeah, that wasn't very kind. But admittedly, we did mess up his name. So, fair's fair. But anyway, we have something like 60-plus drivers on the grid today, as we always do in this series, because it is just terrifyingly popular. Great group of people, so much fun racing, great car. So we do usually have gigantic grids, so that the community doesn't think that I can get through the grid after it comes up and before the race starts. And I must admit, they are probably 100% right about that. But I'm going to try anyway, Johnny Krabs. Thank you. Misplaced, but thank you. Looking here at Jesus Rodriguez. There's another wreck on pit entry. Goodness. And a wreck. Wow. What a day it's going to be, I think. There's Winner just avoiding that goat rope, for lack of another word I was thinking of using that I'm not allowed to use on the broadcast. So we're just ending the practice session. We should very shortly begin our formation lap, and then we'll see how fast I can say everybody's name. Here we go. Of course, in P1. Sorry? No. There they are. Of course, in P1, it is Austin Winner with Forens Arabian for company, followed by Punti Nator. I will get to that name in just a minute. He's got David Bohm for company. They're followed by Jörg Manny and David Gasper. Strange to see Gasper's all the way down in P6, followed by Series P2, Andres Bertoni, who's followed by Fritcher, Jeff Fritcher, Henrik Camaro. And then they are followed by Nico Schuck, Ken Batley, Bobby West, and Antonio Race, who is followed by Simon Mayer, John Pereira, Samuel Dick, Michael Dobek, Flavio Andalo, and Dominic Burrow, all the way down in 19th. In 20th, it is, of course, Josh Arnold, followed by Miro Hraski, Paul Jackson, Ian Haycox, Jason Perry, Chris Murakami, Stevie Ray. Thank you so much for all your hard work, Stevie Ray. Yost Simpkins, Aaron Vagley, Thomas Renders, Adam Bradshaw, Yuri Cox, Tom Gradwell, Jeremy Lewis, Pyotr Mizarek, Ian Gibson, Mike Shaw, Johan Butenga, Sergey Aksenchev, I believe. Sergey, let me know if I've not got that right. Jeff Jacobson, Robert Johansson, Paolo Breme, Louis Verloop, Stephen Mitchell, Jeff Cantor, Gary Walbolt, Haas Gifford. Great name, Gifford. Loving that one. Joshua Borgi-Bunkowski. I apologize if I've gotten that one wrong. Joshua. He's followed by David Delgado, Joshua Flores, Jonathan Gaston Mino, Patrick Moore, Hugh Haycox, Jesus A. Rodriguez, Jerry McAreevy appears to be starting from the pits, as does appear to be Jason Perry and Peter Mizarek in 54th. Now, that's interesting to me that those guys are starting from the pits, probably because they are expecting a gigantic goat rope in turn 1. Here is your field, led by Austin Winner and joined by Forens Arabian and the enigmatic Nator. Now, I'll get to that again in a minute. And we're just about to go racing. Austin Winner should be crossing the finish line. We are indeed racing. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit late on that, Winner. Winner followed by Nator, followed by Arabian and Bohm. 3 wide through turn 1. We expect to see plenty of that today. Great to see everybody keeping it clean so far. Huge field of drivers for the size of the track. They will begin to get strung out, I'm sure. There's Schuck, I believe, getting a little tap in the rear. And that is Dobek's car, that Williams-looking car there. But so far, there he is in the number 42 machine. Looks like Schuck, Meyer, West, Race, and Pereira all battling together. There's Schuck is leading that little group there. Mayer in the Jägermeister machine. 3 wide once more, and we will shortly be done with lap 1, if you can believe it. And indeed we are. There we go, around the final turn. For the end of lap 1, cars starting to get a little bit strung out here now. Now let's take a look. The drivers that we had starting from the pit were Perry and McAreevy, I believe. McAreevy now all the way up into 42nd place. Has McAreevy changed his... No, there he is. I thought for a moment he changed his livery, but no. Or has he? He used to be in the green and white stripes. How dare he? He's changed his livery. How dare he? A lot of nerve, that McAreevy. Well, oh goodness. There's a car around. I believe that's going to be Mitchell. In the number 263 machine, it is. We saw Mitchell have an issue there during practice. He will go to the rear of the field, and that was just Jason Perry's car we saw going by, that Spider-Man machine. So Mitchell has done himself a mischief. Now, I told you guys that I was going to get to this Nator, gentlemen. Punti Nator has only just joined the service, according to my sources, only just joined the service on April 1st. Today's date, of course, is April 11th. Oh, no, that looks like McAreevy. A couple other cars around. Dobek goes around. Big incident there. Lots of cars getting into each other. There goes Murakami. Jobeck is in a terrible position here. He cannot move. If he moves, he'll take out another driver. So he's got to just sit there. You wonder why he doesn't tow. But yeah, terrible place to be spun. Okay, I love it. What can you do? What can you do? Car's already dipping into the pits now. Who's that? Just went into the pits. I couldn't see. Well, there again is Stevie Ray. And let's see how our leaders are doing. Race should be settling down now, more or less. Oh, man. That was I don't know what. The number 415 machine there just on a... It didn't look like he even braked for the corner. He just went diving on through. I'm not sure that is in the 415. Okay, anyway, I was talking about Hunting Nitor. Now, okay, there's more wrecks. That looks like Renders in the rear there has gone around maybe. Car is not being kind to the drivers today, is it? Yeah, car does definitely love to go around. Okay, so here we see Nator leading, excuse me, that's Gaspers leading Bohm, Fritcher, and Manny. But this Nator person has only joined the service on April 1st, as I said, so 10 days, and apparently is already over 4,000 IR. So an interesting story. I don't think anybody, my understanding is that nobody knows who it is. So there's some speculation about who that might be. Let's see. Nator. Yeah, Nator's I rating currently 4,304. So an interesting story there. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of it. But, you know, maybe that's the actual name. Ooh, a little bit of a lockup there from Arabian. Winner now just seems to be getting away. Got himself a little bit of a gap over a second back to Arabian, and Nator is winner. So if Nator and Arabian continue to battle and Arabian is having to defend, or choosing to defend, I should say, winner will continue. Well, he and Gaspers made up a team. You'll notice that they're both running the same livery. Gaspers is back there in the number 17 machine. So they made up a little team for themselves called the Winner Schnitzels. And so their livery is a combination of all of the liveries that those cars used to run. You can see it's Winner's car, then there's that black and green is Gaspers' old livery, and then the silk cut is Arabian's old livery. So it's I told him it put me in mind of, I was broadcasting a race early in lockdown, and all of the drivers on track changed their livery in trading paints to a solid gray livery before the race to make me think that I was having some sort of a technical issue on my side, and I went absolutely ballistic trying to figure it out because it worked. They got me, and I really did think, I thought that something technical had happened, and I was absolutely flipping out on the broadcast. Those guys were... Right. They were laughing so hard at me. Of course, I had no idea, but they got a good laugh. Well, let's see. That lead group there, that is Gaspers leading Bohm, Fritcher, Manny, and it looks like Bertoni behind Manny. And I think Kamara is at the end of that group. And then we have a little bit of a skip back to Batley. So while these battles continue, let's just take a look at the series points. Johnny Grabs, if you don't mind, we'll look at Spec 1 first. Austin Winner leading Spec 1 and indeed leading this race, followed by Andres Bertoni. Bobby West in third. Ian Haycox in fourth. Jeff Fritcher, fifth. Jurg Manny, Josh Arnold, Samuel Dick, Miro Hraski, and Hugh Haycox. Haycox family are fast folks. Haycox and Hraski seem like they are tied for ninth there. So on to the Masters standings. Masters, of course, a new group for this season. That's Nator looking at the inside of Arabian's car there, possibly getting a better run out of that turn, but not able to quite come around just yet. Anyway, Masters standings. Michael Shaw in the lead, followed by Kenneth Batley. There's Nator having another little look at Arabian. I think that geometry is going to be on his side this time. He might be able to slot ahead of Arabian. The question now will be whether Nator can scamper away. Nator takes a defensive line so Arabian doesn't come back at him through turn one. So now if Nator can get himself a gap, he might be able to catch up to Winner and make this into a race. Anyway, Masters standings. Sorry, Johnny Grabs, I got distracted by the racing. Yeah, Michael Shaw, followed by Kenneth Batley, Tom Gradwell, series organizer Steve Ray. Our man. We'll laud him as a hero, followed by Chris Murakami, Bob Kern, Antonio Reyes, Jeff Cantor, Mark Gehan, and Robert Ely in 10th. Spec 2, of course, these are drivers whose cars, you'll note, are over 200. Their car numbers are over 200. We have Ian Gibson in the lead of Spec 2, followed by Simon Mayer, John Pereira, Thomas Renders, Aaron Vagley, Paulo Bremi, Stephen Mitchell, Gary Walbold, Jeremy Lewis, and Paul Jackson. Congratulations to all of those drivers and indeed everybody on the grid. We love you. I say this non-ironically and without a trace of sarcasm. This is the best racing series on iRacing, bar none. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very tricky to drive this car. It is a free car, so a lot of it's one of those easy to learn, hard to master kind of things. And now, Johnny Grabs, as I'm looking at the screen here, it feels to me like Nator is chipping away at Winner's gap here, and it seems to me that he's kind of dragging Arabian along. So now that these cars are no longer really battling one another, it seems to me that Arabian is benefiting. Look at that gap now. I think we're going to get ourselves a race here. Now, of course, the giant monkey wrench will be thrown into the works when it comes time for pit stops. These cars will have to pit. They won't take tires, but they'll take fuel. He really is, and he's so modest about it. Now, I think he's just a modest, sort of a nice kind of a guy. But when I've tried to get him to talk about his pit strategy, he's always like, I don't know, man. I just kind of, whatever. But you're right. He is so good at it. So the mystery man or woman, Nator, chasing down Winner to look at the lead. So let's look at how our different sort of groups are doing on track. It looks like currently in the lead of Spec 2 is Batley running in 10th. The number 922 machine, I believe. He would be. You're so right. Batley, numbers over 900 will be the Masters. Yes, thank you. So Batley currently leading Masters, followed by Race. The former Spec 2 winner is Race. And third in Masters will be Ray. Stevie Ray. Currently on the road. Plenty of racing left to go and plenty of shakeups, I'm sure, especially as these lead cars have started now to pick up the back markers. Leading Spec 2, Shook. I believe running 13th overall is Shook, followed by Mayer and Pereira. So you're right, Johnny Grabs. It's the P2 and P3 in Spec 2, currently running P2 and P3 in Spec 2, with the slight change of Shook running ahead of them. And he's got a little bit of time on them as well, does Shook. If you cast your eye leftward. So what is Nator's gap? He's still running at about a second to Winner, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, we saw those cars. That's Fritcher and Manny look like they're in a battle down the straight back there. We did see these cars practicing their pit entry. It will be interesting to see. Oh dear, I think that's West. Has he just come out of the pits? Yeah, I'll say. Nator needs to get around this car as fast as he can if he has a hope of catching Winner. And there, the car moves away, so he can get by. Who is this mystery person running a second behind Winner, currently in P2 overall? Punti Nator. Name doesn't ring any bells, does it? Okay. Absolutely. Nator now down under a second up to Winner. I wonder if that's Alessandro Delle Donne. I don't know why he would be in a different livery. And I assume he is in Rome, enjoying a lengthy birthday weekend with Marco Barbanera. They're doing Italian things, drinking coffee, growing mustaches probably. Yeah, eating pizza for sure. But it looks like Punti, P-U-N-T-I, is Italian for points. So maybe that has something to do with it. Nothing about Nator. The plot deepens. Well, I'll tell you what's deepening is the gap from Nator back to Arabian. So maybe Winner is picking up the pace because he's seeing that Nator is getting closer. I really think he is. He's closing that down now. Seems to be settling well into his race and into the car. Does Nator. We keep saying he, but how amazing would it be to have a female driver jump in the grid and just kick everybody's butt? I think. It would be great. I would love it. Winner navigating, he's going to have to navigate some back markers here. That is the number 518 machine of Joshua Flores, just ahead. Flores will, I'm sure, let Winner by. Doesn't appear to be, though. I think Winner is going to get a little bit held up here. This will play nicely into Nator's hands. Winner finally able to get around. Let's see if Nator is able to make any shorter work of Flores. Oh, tried for a little. Yeah, and it's not terribly wide either. I mean, it It looks wide now as we're looking down the back straight, but in practice, it's just not very wide, even though these cars are not huge. So shortly, Nator nearly losing the rear of the car there, just scampering around, just wringing every little bit of performance on that final turn. And the gap now down to just about half a second, or very nearly anyway. Amazing to me to see drivers like Gaspers and Arabian struggling a little bit. I mean, those guys are just top notch. So to see them when I say struggling, I'm talking about P3 and 4. So they're definitely having a great race, but those guys are so good. It's amazing to me to see them, not closer to the sort of sharp end of the field. And speaking of the sharp end of the field, Nator now nearly close enough to reach out and give Austin Winter a wet willy. Yeah, I just saw Murakami's car there at the bottom of the screen. Murakami. Absolutely. That is Jackson in the next car just ahead there. Jackson. I was just looking up his car number and it's danced off my screen. I blame technology. Paul Jackson in the number 249 machine, and Murakami just ahead. So Nator now all over the rear of Winter's car, and normally see the weight of Winter's car transfer that way. We just saw sort of there Nator locks up to avoid hitting the rear of Winter's car. Johnny Grabs, I don't think we've seen Winter really fight for his life this way before. Yeah, it's great. Loving it. Winter now being dragged along a little bit by Murakami, who moves aside to let the leaders on through. Oh, but Winter gets through, but Nator does not. Nator now around. Some very kind racing. Big respect in this group. It's one of the things I love so much about this series is everybody are pals. Everybody's positive. The Discord where everybody chats together is everybody's having fun and taking swipes at one another in a fun way. But it's not like some other communities, which I will not name, where people are just unkind and taking it very, very seriously, as though anybody is going to make, as though anybody's livelihood is going to be made or broken by a Sunday afternoon, iRacing league, which I can't imagine. Yeah. Love it. And speaking of what it's all about, we just saw Nator turn the fastest lap of the race so far. There's a car rejoining from the infield. Careful. Fastest lap of the race so far, Nator, a 102. Dipping down into the 102s, 102.8. 102.83. So just 300ths from Winter's fastest so far, which is a 102.86. Unbelievable racing, watching these two guys carve through the field. Yeah, Gaspers and Arabian. Oh, Nator is going to go for the lead. Moves to the inside, gets it done. Well, we'll see. Winter now coming back at him. It's going to slot in behind. Nator has just taken the lead of the race. Unbelievable. We'll see if he's able to stay ahead or if Winter is able to come back at him. I was just looking at the timing screen as that happened, so I would love a replay if possible. I know it's possible. And I know you can do it. So there they go. There they go. Nator now in the lead. But I would think the pit window would well and truly be open now at 23 minutes into this 40-minute race. Beautiful. He's already in the lead there. Glorious. Great racing on track between these drivers here. Really shaking up the field is the mystery person, Punti Nator. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Non parlo italiano, solo inglese. Mi dispiace. There they go. Now let's take a look at the other series, Racing on Track. We'll go first to the Masters. If you just look at the timing tower on the left of your screen there, you'll see Batley running in 6th place. In the number 922 machine, he is leading the Masters group. Probably, I believe, Johnny Grabs, if I'm not mistaken, if Batley wins this race, he and Race will be sharing a bowl of prunes. Race not far behind in the number 906 machine in Spec 2 of Masters. In place 2 of Masters. In Spec 2, our lead driver is, of course, Mayer currently, followed by Pereira and Shook. So Shook has dropped somewhat down, and Shook now, it looks like Pereira's just gone into the pit lane. Shook has not stopped yet. Look at this battle for the lead. You know, we've said it already, and it is true. Oh, dear. Was that West that just went around there? Number 37 machine. That's Verloop. Verloop has done himself a Verloop. Yeah, so. Look like a classic. Well, I've certainly done that many, many times myself. Yes, indeed. Well, you know, even if I tried to race in this series, I wouldn't be good enough. I wouldn't make the cut. So I would have spun out during qualifying, I'm sure. Battle for the lead here. So mystery person, Nator here, just centimeters ahead of Winner's car. Winner often wins in this series. Looking forward from Winner's car here from the blue and white machine at the rear of Nator's car. And I have a feeling, Johnny Grabs, that this battle is going to go on for the entire length of this race. Next, we'll have very shortly, I would expect these drivers to come in soon, and we will see if Winner's pit prowess is able to give him the upper hand. He really is pretty good at it, even though, as I say, he's just a fairly modest guy. So when we get him, yeah, everybody, yeah. It seems like Winner. Now, look, this is the strategy when you're in second place. You just fill up the guy's mirrors and see if you can kind of force a mistake by staying in his mirrors. And you wonder here if Nator might have made an interesting choice by taking the lead, whereas he could have just hung out. And again, we're saying we don't know. Winner is going to try the outside here. Heavy braking into turn one. Not going to work, I don't think, but he's going to try the over-under. Also not going to work. Nator stays in the lead. What a battle. I'm loving this. Very different lines here on the hairpin. So Johnny Grabs, I'm hearing from our community. Winner takes a look at the inside of Nator here. Will he be able to take it back? I think he's going to be able to take the lead. They're side by side through the final turn. Whoever gets the better run here will surely be in the lead. Side by side, what is going to happen in turn one? Heavy braking. You see the cars pitch forward. We're side by side still as we go through this first turn and into the infield. These back markers are going to play a role. I think Nator is going to be a little bit held up. Winner and Nator still side by side. I think Nator, a little lock up there on the inside of the tires. Nator back in the lead. Unbelievable. What a series of turns. Unbelievable. I was just going to say, Johnny Grabs, I'm hearing from the community that nobody can hear you. They can hear me, but not you. Of course they won't hear you. So this battle at the lead continues. Nator will cover off the inside. I wonder if he's going to dip into the pits. He does. So Nator into the pit. Pits out of the lead. Winner will stay out. How many laps will Winner be able to do? How much will he be able to make up, you wonder? And let's take a look at Nator in the pit lane. He's now currently trundling down to his pit stall. Everybody in the pits is doubled up because there are only 30-something pit stalls here at Tsukuba. And we have very much more than 30 drivers on track. There is your leader, Winner. Shortly we'll come around again, and the question will be, how long does Winner stay out? Nator already back out on track in P4. Let's look at his time. So a pit lane time for Nator of 26 seconds. Just over 26 seconds, nearly 27. So that'll be the number to keep in your mind as we see Winner stop, which he must surely do here shortly. There he is, Nator. A little puff of smoke on the track there. Somebody had a little lock up in the infield. Doesn't seem to bother Nator, though. Steaming along. There's the number 89 machine of Bobby West. He's had some damage. Some sort of misfortune has befallen him, it appears. Nator now looking at the inside of the number 377 machine. Nator taking a very wide line, and will just enjoy that draft. There's Paolo Breme ahead in the 555 machine. That is Greg Stefani, I believe, on the inside. Excuse me, that might have been Gibson. Nator now up into P3. He got around Barreau. Barreau has not stopped. Barreau now into the pits. Oh, excuse me, no, Barreau just had a little off track there. There is Nator running in P3 just behind Paolo Breme's car, the number 555 car. Nator will do everything he can to get around, I'm sure. Paolo taking the inside. And Paolo moving over to the side to get out of the leader's way. Lots of cars on track out there, so these guys are really having to manage traffic. Nator still in P3. So Winner has now pitted and is out again. There's Nator. And has got a gap up to Winner. So Winner, through the pit stop, has now managed to make himself the leader once again with a gap back to Nator. Here is your leader, Arabian, who has not yet stopped. Arabian and Race, the last cars who have not stopped of the lead. Jackson also has not stopped, but sort of in the running in the top 5. Arabian and Race, 2 cars who haven't yet stopped. Winner will shortly inherit the lead once again from Arabian whenever Arabian decides to dip in to the pits. There is the Race. You can see Winner's car here at the bottom of your screen, just following behind the number 961 machine. Winner getting a nice tow. There's Jackson and Breme, I believe, into the pits. And there is Nator's car at the top of your screen, just navigated the final turn. So 7 minutes to go now, just under. and that should be something like 5 or 6 laps. Will Nator be able to close this gap down to winner in that time? I don't think so. I think that's a pretty big ask. What a race. Winner now dancing into the distance, and there have also been some big shakeups down through the timing tower. Race now has stopped, and your leader is pitting as well. Arabian into the pits. So let's see if Arabian is able to shake up this race by having a very fast pit stop. If he's able to just take a splash and dash, he might do okay for himself. Let's see. 7 seconds to go. Winner now takes over the lead. There he is. And Nator with 3 seconds. There he is, just now coming onto your screen in the number 39 machine. I don't think, I'd hate to sound like like I don't have sort of faith, like I don't believe in Christmas. But 3.8 seconds is a lot to try to get out of winner. Now, let's look at those pit lane times. So total pit lane time for winner, 25.7 seconds. Nator having to lock up there to deal with that car. He's really just hanging it all out there, is Nator. So pit lane time for winner, 25.77 versus a 26.67. So nearly a full second, just shy of a second's difference between winner and Nator. So unbelievable. I hope that Plenty Nator will stop in for an interview after the race and reveal their identity. There is Manny, Jurg Manny. He's battling with West in the number 89 machine. Excuse me, West has gotten his car fixed. He took his fast repair while he was in the pits. This is the battle for 8th place. West moving to the inside to cover Manny off. Manny will continue to battle. Does not give up easily, Jurg Manny. Nor do any of these drivers, indeed. What a battle this is. That is Mayer with Batley just behind. Excuse me, with Batley just ahead. I apologize. Mayer has Barreau just behind. Barreau has changed his livery on me. How dare he? A lot of nerve, Barreau. And that's Shook just behind. Let's see how we're doing on our... Well, we've got just about, I would say, 3-ish laps to go. That gap between winner and Nator still hovering at about 4 seconds, but plenty of racing going on track. Antonio Race leading the Masters class. Racing the number 906 machine. There he is. And in Masters, following just behind is Batley in the number 922 machine. We'll see him shortly come around the corner. There he is. Just leading that booger of cars there in the yellow car with the red highlights. And third in Masters, currently Stevie Ray in the 911 machine. You'll know it because it is very shiny. Spec 2, of course, currently led by Pereira in P11. Pereira running in the number 312 machine. There he is in that blue car, just in the center of your screen, just behind Race. Nice looking livery there. And second in P2 will be Mayer in the 308. Not too far behind. Should see him on your screen shortly. Well, he's back there behind Batley's car. And third in P2, it is Shook. You can see his car just there, the number 287 machine, taking that wide line while he's moved it in a little bit, hasn't he? Well done, Shook. So, 2 minutes to go. We should have a lap or two Winner still in the lead. There he is. He's still got himself a good gap over Nator. And I believe he's going to be able to hang on to it. Maybe Nator took a little bit too much fuel. You wonder if it didn't, you know, who knows what his or her pit stop settings were. Maybe took a little bit too much fuel and the car is now a little bit heavy. Maybe took tires. Who knows? Well, certainly didn't take tires with a pit stop time of 26.6. But that is a pretty fast pit stop. Our old pal Miro Hraski managed to get himself a 16-second pit stop. That is nearly unbelievable. I think that has to be wrong. I'm not sure how that could be right. A couple of drivers did do very short pit stops, though. According to the Time Utara use, Simpkins managed a 14-second pit stop. Big if true. And Fabio Andallo did 11 seconds. I don't think that could possibly be true. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Well, there he is, your leader, just getting around Jason Perry in that pink number 97 machine. Perry, of course, in a battle of his own, I'm sure. Just look at how Perry's doing. Perry started from the pits and is now in 27th place. So he's had a pretty good race, has Perry. And that is Yuri Cox, currently just ahead of Winner's car. Winner now to the inside. So Cox and Perry can continue to battle. We're both running in the normal Spec 1. Well, not normal, but the top class. So they will be battling for place. And they're battling for 26th. Riding on board with Austin Winner's car here, he will take the checkered flag and will take the win. So well done to him. Drivers, if you're watching, listening, do stop in, have a chat with us. Join us on the Discord. We'd love to talk to you about how your race went. There is the mystery person, Nator. A 5-second gap takes that P2. And Arabian will take P3. There is Antonio Race. He will be your Masters winner today as long as he can get around this turn and get himself across the finish line, which he is very likely to do. There he goes. He takes the checker. And just behind is the 312 machine of Pereira, who will win Spec 2. Great driving out there all. There's Batley in the 922 machine. Batley will take P2 in Masters. And there's Stevie Ray, your P3 in Masters. And champion of our hearts for all the hard work he does to make this happen. Thank you so much. So we should shortly be seeing some results, and hopefully some drivers will stop by to have a chat with us. Should see official results shortly anyway, and no doubt shortly after that, probably while that's going on, the Demolition Derby, the traditional Weekend Warriors Demolition Derby, will begin. Drivers love nothing more at the end of the race than to drive their cars into one another, because they do not have to purchase new fiberglass to go on the outside of the car. Well, here they come, I suspect. Yes, indeed, your overall results. Austin Winner is indeed the winner, followed by Punti Nator in P2 and Forens Arabian in P3. A great result back there for David Bohm in P4. Great driver is Bohm. Nice to see him get a result, followed by Andres Bertoni, who is second in the standings. This is Bertoni, and you can see the Demolition Derby now very, very much underway. Andres Bertoni rounds out that P5, followed by Jeff Pritchard, Henry Camara in 7th, Bobby West, Jurg Manny, and Antonio Race. Down, rounding out the overall top 10. Race will take the win in the Masters class, followed by Batley and Stevie Ray. And in Spec 2, it will be John Pereira. Well done, Pereira. Followed by Simon Mayer and Nico Shook, I believe. I'm having to do mathematics and that is always a problem. It looks like our winner has stopped in for a conversation. Austin Winter, congratulations on your finish today. You had a battle on your hands.
Yeah, quite a bit. I wish I knew who it was with. I'm sure it's not that guy's real name. Somebody running incognito, but definitely seemed like they were a veteran of this series.
Yeah. Got up to 4,300 IR in the space of 10 days. That's there's something going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any guesses? Would you care to take part in any sort of conspiratorial thinking?
Yeah.
Who do you think it might be?
I have a few guesses. I think we were talking about on Discord, but if they're doing this to stay anonymous, so I'm not going to make a guess, and probably the wrong guess anyway. So I would shy away from making a guess in this interview. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Hey, well, an answer is an answer. I'm hoping maybe Kimi Räikkönen. What do you think?
Yeah, either him or Max Verstappen. He's a famous iRacer. One of those two for sure.
There you go. Verstappen and Kimi Räikkönen taking a break from the Formula cars to come and drive. Well, it's a Formula car, isn't it? Center position anyway. So we were just loving the racing that we saw on track today. Nator had to deal with Arabian and then sort of chase you down, and it seemed like Nator really was able to catch up to you, and you guys had a great battle on track, which sort of sorted itself out during the pit stops. How was that going in your mind?
Yeah, so I think he got second pretty quickly, and then he made a mistake in the last hairpin, and I was able to get out of draft range, only about 0.4 seconds, 4/10 out of draft. And then I made a mistake, and it was right at 1 second for a long time, which is kind of the limit of the draft in these cars. And then he just chewed into it, got down to 0.9, 0.8, and then he was on my bumper, and then he passed me very cleanly. And I had some trouble keeping up with him even. I think I could make a move on him once, and he fought right back.
So when you saw him or her or whoever dip into the pits, did you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to stay out for another couple of laps? Did it we know that you're really good with the pit stop strategy, but were you thinking, maybe I'll pit too, or what happened at that point?
Well, I was going to pit that lap, and then when he pulled over, it's no fun. This is a very scary pit entry. I did not want to follow somebody in there and miss my brake marker and, either ruin my race or both of our races. So I figured I'd stay out one more lap, and luckily the lap traffic was pretty accommodating, so it wasn't too bad running into the lappers. And like you said, I think I nailed it on the fuel. I started the last lap with 1/10 of a gallon left. So I was expecting to sputter, but it didn't till after the checkers.
Yeah, nice. Wow, you really timed that perfectly. But I was amazed to see you sort of get, you had a gap. Once you came out of the pits, your gap was at 3 seconds and change, and then it kind of started to creep up. Do you think that, I don't know, sort of late in the race, if you realize you're P2 and you're not going to catch P1, you kind of give up a little bit?
Yeah, and he had a big margin, or she had a big margin to third place, so there's probably no reason to push it, get yourself into a spin, driving outside your limits, trying to catch a margin that can't be made up. So, yeah, I wasn't too surprised. I'm sure they were letting off a little bit, taking it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was an unbelievable race. Loved seeing you sort of, I thought we saw some, just judging by the sort of weight transfer of the car, I thought we saw a little bit more aggressive driving than we normally see from you. You're normally very, very smooth. And it seemed like once Nator caught you, you were kind of having to dice it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a symptom of this track. There's really 4 corners that you have to practice, just like Lime Rock. So, in just like 20 laps of practice, you have them about all mastered. So it's like similar to Lime Rock or other short tracks. Just, you fear the person who's practiced one corner 10,000 times, not 10,000 corners one time. And that's just the nature of this track. It's not like you in the ring where there's 180 corners. And so just was able to get exactly or practice every corner a lot.
Yeah. Well, it certainly paid off, and it is apparently paying off in terms of series standings as well. You are sitting at the top of the heap, followed by Bertoni and West, but I don't think either of them had a terribly good race today. So there may be some shakeups behind you, but I know from interviewing you in the past that that's probably not foremost on your mind.
No, I mean always winning's fun, but the most important thing is the racing fun, and it always is. So regardless of the standings, we're having fun out here, and that's all that matters.
So true. I can think of no better thought to end an interview on. Thank you so much for stopping by, Austin Winter. Today's winner indeed.
Thank you.
Well, guys, what a race it was. As per usual, I say it without joking around one little bit. I'll just chat for a second, hoping another driver will stop by and have an interview with us. But I say it without joking. The best series on iRacing, bar none. You saw it out there on track. You see the racing that we have. Look at all of those cars that come out to race with these guys. And there's a reason, because it's so much fun. The racing is so close. And this car really rewards a light touch. Well, it looks like we're going to have to close it out for you guys. It has been another fantastic week of racing with the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors this week at Tsukuba. Plenty of racing yet to come in this series. We do this every weekend. Please join us. Look, you'd be a fool not to join us for this every week because it's always like this. Thank you so much, guys. This has been SRF Weekend Warriors presented by Race Voice on Apex Racing TV. I've been Jim Hodgson, of course, joined today by Johnny Grabs, who was apparently silent, but never mind. We hope to see you next week.